Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to address a question that comes up from time to time, and that is, what kind of gear are you using to film your videos? So today's episode will be full of gear, and not just that, I will also explain to you why I'm using it. So without further ado, let's go. For videos like this one here, my main camera is the Lumix S5. It's not the new one that came out earlier this year, because I'm still rocking the original one. Even though this doesn't have the best autofocus, it works good enough for me. What I really like about the camera is the footage coming out of it and the ease of use. Besides that, it is fairly compact and lightweight for a full frame camera. Yes, I thought about upgrading to the new one because it has vastly improved autofocus and a nice couple other features, but so far I could resist the temptation. And now, besides the camera, I need some lenses to film videos, and here I use the Panasonic prime lenses because I think Panasonic has some really great options. For my videos, especially when I'm traveling, I mainly use the 18mm f1.8, which is by far my favorite lens because it is very wide and still lets me blur out the background. Yes, a 24mm would also work, but when holding the camera myself, having a lens that is a little wider makes things a lot easier. The second lens that I like to use for video is the Lumix 50mm f1.8, which looks almost identical to the 18mm. In fact, all f1.8 primes that Panasonic currently offers are housed in the same body, and only the weight differs slightly. That is great, especially when using a gimbal, because when you switch the lens, there's nothing you need to adjust. Talking about gimbals, the one that I'm using is the DJI RS3 Mini, which works very well, and for what it is reasonably compact and lightweight. All the gimbals I had before weighed almost double, and therefore I almost never took them with me when traveling. That being said, when using the Lumix S5, I don't necessarily need image stabilization in form of a gimbal because it already has it built into the camera, and that works very well. However, my second camera that I use for filming has built-in IS2, but it's not great for video, as you can see in the shaky footage. But with the magic of a gimbal, that becomes a non-issue. Maybe you can already guess what camera I'm talking about. Yeah, it's the Leica Q3. Which is, for me, mainly it's a camera for street photography. That's why I use it most of the time. But since it has great video capabilities, I will, from now on in the future, and I've already done it, I will use it for video. And in case I want to pack very light, then maybe I can just leave the Lumix S5 at home and only bring this, because then it serves two purposes: taking photos and for video, which is great. Besides the lack of image stabilization, it is also lacking a flip-out screen, and for video that isn't ideal, especially when I'm filming myself. But to be honest, I'm glad it doesn't have one, because that feature is really bad for photography. Now, right when I got the Q3, Zines, a company that makes accessories for videographers, reached out and asked if I want to try out one of their monitors. I would say that's perfect timing. They sent over their C6R 6-inch monitor, and that has all the bells and whistles you might need for an external monitor. And the included battery has a Type-C port for charging, which is great, because something that I definitely not need is another charger laying around. So far the monitor works great. The only thing that bothered me when I used it the first time was the built-in fan, which was a little too loud, but the great thing is you can simply turn it off and enjoy the silence again. Before I show you the other cameras that I'm using for filming, let's talk about something that I think is even more important than the image that you see, and that is audio. To record sound, I'm using the DJI mic system, which comes in this brilliant charging case. I've used it over a year now, and it served me very well. Recently, I've added this Rode Lavalier 2, and I think this is a great combo, especially for traveling. By the way, I'm recording the whole video with this setup. Also rather important when filming video is to maintain a certain shutter speed, or in case of the Lumix S5, shutter angle, to match the frame rate you're shooting in. I'm using variable ND filters because they make things a lot easier, and the ones I really like are from a company called Freewell. I've been using their filters for over a year now, and I have zero complaints, unlike ones from competitors that were much more expensive. Recently they brought out a new filter system called K2, which they have kindly sent over for me to try out. it makes it very easy to switch filters. There is 2 variable NDs included, one from 1 to 5 stops and the second one covers 6 to 9 stops. In order to use the K2 system, first you have to attach an adapter ring to your lens. There's an adapter ring from 67mm to 82mm included in the box. Screw the adapter into the filter ring of your lens and then you can attach the filter holder by simply pushing down the 2 red buttons and release them when the holder sits on the adapter ring. The good thing is you can still rotate the filter holder while it's securely mounted to the lens. To lock it, just screw down the 2 red screws and that's it. In order to use one of the variable NDs, you need to install the ND base, which is easily done and it's held in place by magnets. Also held in place by magnets are the variable NDs themselves when you attach them to the front of the holder. I like that they have hard stops preventing you from over-rotation, which would cause unusable results. Next to the ND filters that can also be used as polarizers, by the way, you can add other filters like mist filters, different gradient filters and so on and so forth. You simply slide them into the filter holder. Because the variable NDs have such a wide range and you can easily pop in mist filters, it is a great solution for video shooters. But I think it is an even better system for landscape photographers with the built-in bubble level, the ability to easily rotate the filters and the sheer variety of different filter types that are available. Now, when I'm traveling and I want to bring as little as possible, I use the screw-in filters. And they have done a great job for me since over a year. Last but not least, there are 2 more cameras that I'm using. One more often and the other one not so often. And that one only if the circumstances are really bad, if it's raining for instance. I'm talking about this one here, the DJI Osmo Action that I've been using since 4 years and it served me pretty well. The POV videos I filmed during Songkran in Thailand were recorded with this one, by the way. These action cameras are great, but they have one massive downside. Because they rely on electronic image stabilization, they need fast shutter speeds for that. That's the reason it doesn't work that great in low light. This is why I'm mostly using the DJI Pocket 2 for most of my POV videos. This camera has a physical gimbal, which always works, and another upside is that when I'm leaning over to take a shot, the camera is not pointing downwards, thanks to the gimbal. But it also has some downsides. For instance, the battery is fixed, so you cannot take it out, which is a bummer. And also the lens has only 20mm. Luckily, you can attach a wide angle adapter that brings it down to around 15mm, which is much better for my kind of use. For the longest time, I used a chest mount for these cameras, but recently I picked up this neck mount, which almost looks like a dog collar. I've tried it out and it seems to work very well. But I'll keep you updated after using it a bit longer. So this is pretty much all the gear that I'm using for filming my videos, besides maybe some tripods or some lights, but I think that stuff is not very exciting to talk about. And in case you want to know which software I'm using for editing my videos, last year I switched over to DaVinci Resolve after using Adobe Premiere for many years and I'm happy I've done it. It works, it's fantastic, it works just great. The only thing is, I wish I had done it sooner. So if you want to check out one of the things that I've mentioned in this video, I'll put links to everything in the description box below this video. And yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. If you have any question, of course, leave a comment down below and I will try to help you out. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you like this episode, as always, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see each other very soon in the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.